Mike and Alan, come up here. So, guys, we are at the point of our program where we're going to take a break. Do not stand up yet because we're going to give you some information about what's coming next. Well, let me tell you this. Here's the truth that we know at RE/MAX Professionals. You guys become far more creative at the bar after the event than you ever are during the event. Truth? Yes. Chad, truth, right? The bar is about to open. Okay? So, Kyla, I love it. So here's what we're going to do, and I'll let Mike explain the rules behind it. But the next session, the final hour, is going to be a pitch battle. Okay? We're going to take a break. And you guys are going to prepare yourselves for the pitch battle. You're going to grab a cocktail if you would like. I believe we have some food out there too, don't we? We have food and drink out there. Annie, I don't know. Annie's out there setting it up.
Yep.
I know for sure there's a bar.
They're really scrambling because we're 10 minutes early.
Oh, well, that's unheard of.
We won't be.
Okay, so get ready for a break. Get ready to grab a drink. What are they going to do, Mike?
All right, so like Brad said, it's going to be a pitch battle. You need to find your own team. What? Pitch battle? Pitch battle. Pitch battle. You're going to find your own team. Every team has to be at least 3 members and no more than 5 members. Okay? Everybody got that? At least 3, no more than 5. Here's what we're going to battle about. We're going to take the best ideas on how to best service sellers. Now, what that encompasses is how are we going to talk to them before the listing? Most importantly, maybe, how we're going to talk to them during the listing when their house hasn't sold. How are we going to give them the right advice to navigate them and get them to the closing table? What are we going to do when they've already ripped their heart open and are bleeding all over the table, and then the buyer comes back to jump on it a couple more times to get some more stuff for the inspection? What are we going to do then? How are we going to leave them with a smile on their face when all that happens? All right? That is the goal. Everybody got it? Okay. All right. Let's double check and make sure before we get out of here that we are actually live. Mike Smith, will you peek your head around the corner and just ask them if we're good to go? No, we're not good to go. All right,
okay.
Good.
That's okay. Questions about pitch battle, you guys. Teams from 3 to 5. Ideas on best idea from your team as to how to take care of your sellers pre, during, or post listing. Okay? Good?
These can be ideas on things you're using now, or they can be ideas of things that you want to start doing or incorporate. They can be future tense as well.
Does everybody have their team already? All right, let's take a couple minutes.
Take a couple minutes, find your team.
No more than 5, no less than 3. If you need somebody, raise your hand. I'll get you on a team.
Okay. So that you guys know, in order to get through this in a relatively timely manner, each pitch is going to have 4 minutes for the initial pitch, okay? 4 minutes, which doesn't seem like long. It's a lot of time. 4 minutes is a lot of time. We have a timer right down here that is a 4-minute timer.
I'm going to run it.
So you guys will know. They're actually going to put the timer.
Are you going to run
Oh, it's right here. Here it is.
There we go, yeah.
Green, and then when they get down, it's going to turn yellow. All right.
Yeah. It can be a role play. You can pitch it however you want, Stephanie. Whatever you feel like. You can do whatever you want, Daner. Here's the deal. All right, everybody pay attention. Everybody pay attention because the last 3 questions were all about this. We're all about the presentation and what you're supposed to say. Notice that there was not a specific set of instructions. On purpose. That wasn't accidental. Here's the thing. You could do this pitch battle however you want, but everybody's going to vote on you and how you take sellers from the beginning to the middle to the end and get them out alive. That is your goal. So if that means everybody speaks, or you speak on all topics or just one, or whatever that looks like for your group, perfectly fine. Whatever you feel like is going to give you the best shot to get everybody convinced that you are going to service sellers best, and you can do it in 4 minutes. Who wants to go first? Come on. Let's go.
What do you mean you haven't started yet?
Then-
What have you been doing?
Your pitch battle's going to suck. Who's going to go first? You want me to just flip a coin? All right, EC, let's
All right,
go.
let's go.
Bam. That's what I'm talking about.
Come on
Leader.
up. Where's your team?
Leader in the clubhouse. You
Get your butts up here. Whoa. All right.
Let's go. Here's the role play. All right, here we go.
You got your timer right here.
Let's see. Before we start, I'll tell you when. All right, EC, who's you, Jen, and Rick? Is that All right. So this team here, Erica, Rick, Jennifer. All right? That's a tough team. Here we go. Your 4 minutes starts. You better move your ass because clock's about ready to go. Perfect. Ready? 5, 4, 3. No heckling. 3, 2, 1. On.
All right, so to introduce you guys to this, Jenny is going to be our seller. Rick and I are co-listing this property. All right. So, Jenny, I understand that you are interviewing multiple agents. What is the most important thing to you?
I want to make the most money I can, and I want to sell through some.
Okay, great. So those two things may be conflicting because as you can tell, the real estate market has changed. You see a lot more signs in your neighborhood right now. And have you been watching the market at all? Do you see that the neighbors' homes are kind of languishing on the market a little bit? So every seller out there absolutely wants to sell for the most money possible. The delta is the time on the market. So we need to take a look at what is really the most important to you, because I could give you a list price, we could give you a list price where your house would sell this weekend. I think it's 5.25. If you have a temperament for sitting on the market a little bit longer, we could definitely price the home longer. That doesn't mean that you're going to sell for more money.
My neighbor sold last year, and they made $650 on that same house. On the same house, and mine's better. It's prettier, and I can't buy my new home until I sell it.
Well, you do have a beautiful house, Jenny. However, one thing you need to understand is that the market now is vastly different than it was a year and a half ago, even 2 months ago. So it's really critical to, in order to get you the most money for your property, to look at what we can get for you for your property right now, not historically what someone sold their property for a certain time ago. The market is going to give you what they feel your house is worth. Really, truly, and I don't mean any disrespect about this, but it's not about what you want, what you think you should get, what you think you deserve. The market is going to give you what the market will give you for your property.
Should I give myself wiggle room for all these people who are coming in asking for concessions? Shouldn't I price it higher so that I have money to play with?
That's a great question. We get that one a lot. So let me give you a couple of examples. In the last weekend, we put 2 listings on the market. Seller asked the exact same question. When we priced it spot on where the watermark was for the market, we received multiple offers. And the only way that you're going to get over asking price is if you potentially get multiple offers. If you price it right above that watermark, I don't care if it's $10,000. You may price it where the buyers come, they're like a school of fish. They're going to all swim to your listing the first weekend. They're going to go, oh, shoot, I like it, but not enough at this price. They're going to go look at the rest of the listings. Then when we move the price down, whether it's $10,000 or a different number, we try and meet the buyer pool where they are. They have swam away. So strategically, it might make more sense if we price it dead on for the market without concessions. We understand right now, thank you, it's a buyer's market. So the buyers are likely going to come in. They're going to ask you to pay buyer broker compensation. They might ask you for a seller concession. We can't stop them from doing that. But the leverage that you have as a seller is if your days on market is 3 versus 103. If you are 3-4 months on the market, we're going to have less negotiating power, and then you're going to feel pressed up against a wall.
Okay, let's talk about the plan.
Love it.
Good job. Very well done. So, in a nutshell, be honest. You guys, be honest. Give them fact, not emotion. What else? What else were you trying to accomplish? What's your pitch? What were you trying to accomplish in that conversation?
Setting the right expectations up front. You want
Brilliant.
to play offense and not defense. If you're waiting for calls from your sellers 3 days on the market, 30 days on the market, 60 days on the market, wondering what are you doing to sell my house, you already set that expectation at first.
Awesome. Be honest and set expectations.
State of the market.
Stay to the market. Very, very good.
All right.
And Rick, the one thing I love that I heard you say is, Jenny, your home is beautiful, but I need to be honest with you, right? You started with a compliment, and that was really, really good. Okay.
Because he's a good salesman.
Well, let's be honest. Are there two other listing agents any more confident than Rick and Erica? I mean, they're ready. We still mess it up. No, well, yeah.
We all
That was really good.
All right, who's
And
next?
your opposition was fantastic.
Go, Lisa.
All right, Lisa, come on up.
Come on, everybody. Let's go. I don't care if you all participate, but y'all got to come up.
Come up here with
Who is
Lisa.
it? Is it Lisa, Mark, George, Brandon? All right, let's go.
Yeah, you are.
Okay,
I love your sweatshirt, by the way, too. It's awesome.
last year's fashion.
You all need microphones? All
I'm
right,
the speaker.
you're the speaker. All right. Let's go.
All right, are you all ready to take some notes? Because
me
we've got
go.
some really good ideas.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, get your pen in hand, because we got some great ideas. So the name of our program that we came up with is called the 360 Seller Experience.
Nice.
So pre-listing, meeting the client maybe for the first time, we want to do a hook that captures the seller's heartstrings. And we want to ask them what they loved about living in that house. And we want to let them know that we're going to be using their words in our marketing program. Okay? So once we have landed the listing, the next thing during, while it's on the market and under contract, we want to do random and encouragement Popeyes. So one of them would be maybe dropping off some lottery tickets and saying, hey, I'm feeling we're going to be lucky this weekend selling your house. What do you think? You like it? Okay. Okay, this is where you should really be taking notes. Are you ready? When we are at the closing table and we have finished, we will have already designed and given them this beautiful envelope. And in the envelope is a VIP client invitation. And what that means is that we are now inviting them to be a part of our VIP client list. So this means that they're going to be included in our client appreciation events, our special offers like the home service program, that sort of thing. What was it, Home View? Yeah, Home View, that sort of thing. But it's really special, not only just a closing gift, but saying now you are a part of my VIP client program. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great.
Anything else? Okay, good.
Good. Thank you, guys. That's great. Those are some good ones and a totally different idea. I dig it. Joan Pratt, thus the reason that we didn't give specific instructions, totally different take. Good ideas. All right. 2 for 2, good nuggets. Who's next? Come on. Everybody's going to go, so let's go. Let's go, Brandon. You're up. Who is it? Brandon, Mike, Dave? No. Just watching. All right. Here you go. All right.
We just made up the 361.5 degree. All right. So here's the thing. It's human first, listening to their fears and leading with those expectations. Setting expectation for price, timing things like the cost for improvement, market conditions, our role as their rep, their role as the seller, and then the market's role as far as how it communicates, what to anticipate in written detail. But the big thing is distributing it in short pieces. So through video, we'll communicate through from the beginning. It's not just in the sale, it's also as soon as we take the listing, we're going to communicate as though it is their own personal social media platform. So remembering that it's small stints, small pieces, digestible, so that they can accept it, they can receive it from multiple sources as well, and that way they know that it's not steering them in one way or another. It's ways that they can also relate and they can search for the data on their own. It's a bunch of guys with pragmatic resolutions.
Yeah, basically. So you take the transaction process, and it always fluctuates based on market conditions for how long each part of the phase is. There's, the pre-listing when you're meeting with them, they're getting the house ready, and right now I think the time that the home is listed has become a pretty primary point in the transaction that we're not used to that being so much time. And so how do we deliver value over a long period of time while they have outside influences in their life that are telling them how much they should hate you? And you should have hired my cousin. He would have had your house sold by now. And, we need to understand that everybody knows 6 to 14 realtors. And in order to really deliver good service, you have to be setting good expectations up front and then deliver on those expectations. If you're going to call them every week and be a proactive communicator, have something to damn say. And if you're going to want to have something to say, you should probably work on your systems and your intentionality of how you're going to build that before, so that you have something to talk about. I'm going to call you every week. We're going to go over these reports. I'm going to show you all the people that I tried to get in your house this week. I'm going to show you the agents that showed in your neighborhood and my communication with them. And then we're just going to talk about it. Then at least when you're calling on another failing week of not selling the home, apparently only because it's overpriced. Thank you for that.
Truth.
Then at least you can show them, here's all the effort that I'm actually putting into this. And if you're not putting in effort every week to sell every listing you have, maybe you should be honest with yourself about how hard you're willing to work in this market. That's my opinion anyways.
All right, good stuff there. Just kind of like the common theme of the whole meeting is really just setting expectations with your sellers. I think your clients can be so appreciative if you're just straight up honest with them, and you let them know how the market has changed, what that means specifically to them. So you got a plan going up front of what's going to happen. Are we getting a lot of showings, or are we just getting a couple, or are we getting none? Are we even getting people talk? Yeah, are we even getting thoughts of an offer? Anybody even talking about an offer? So the market's going to speak to you. Question is, are you listening to the market? And I think that's a powerful statement, right? So setting those expectations up front, I don't think you can go farther than that. I mean, I think that's gonna be your number one key.
Good job. Wait, before you guys go down real quick, I have a question for you. One of the things that you said is know what to say and when to say it. Do you envision a predetermined, after 1 week on the market, after 3 weeks on the market, after a month on the market? I mean, at what point, what are some of those trigger points that you're talking about, knowing what to say when you say it? I mean, I didn't mean to make you think further than...
No, I mean, it's just to try to put yourself in their shoes. And I think we usually build a lot of enthusiasm going into weekends 1 and 2. Uh-huh. And by the third one is usually when I'm going to want to shift the tone to, it's time to work on our price reduction. Yeah. By like a 5th week, it's like, hey, I'm sure you have influences in your life that have a lot of opinions. Let's talk about them. Yeah. And like I said, I think winners keep score. So if you have a scorecard of what you've been doing and you just have proof is undeniable.
That's awesome. I think that's really good. I don't think that we anticipate what the seller concerns might be. I think that we put out fires as fires come. And I don't think that we anticipate at the 30-day mark, here's not only what I should talk about, but here's maybe a tool that I should use to demonstrate what I've been doing over the past 30 days, right? That's really good. I love
All right,
that.
2 edited rules of the pitch battle. You can't help them. They're done at 4 minutes.
Hey,
You guys go.
I had a question and they gave me an answer.
Second rule of the pitch battle. Hey, second rule of the pitch battle. You guys are done planning. Kristen Stanley, I'm talking to you.
Oh.
You guys are still planning. Pitch battle plan's over.
Next up.
Dudes.
Yeah, you got to
Battle
pay
plan's
attention
over.
now.
The whole idea of this is to listen to everybody else now.
We're up
All right,
now.
let's go. You good? All right.
Did this assignment
You
right.
guys all quit talking. Start listening.
We're not sure we did this right,
Here
as
we go.
he said,
3, 2,
but
1.
we're going to go
bam,
for
you're
it.
on.
3 parts to a listing appointment. Number 1, I love your curtains. They are spectacular. Right from Rick. Second one, the market sucks. On and on. Here's some charts, blah, blah, blah. Next one, you get to pick the strategy. I got 3 strategies. Aspirational pricing, like if you have a celebrity home or we got some unique features, we'll overprice it. Do you have that? No. Fair market strategy. We're getting a lot of good fair market offers, but guess what? Fair market is the perception. It's what they think it is. Or my favorite, auction-like pricing. Let's create an auction-like environment. My last one, we priced 20% under market. We bid it back up 15% over. Which one would you like? Now you're up.
Well, let me see this sheet here.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's understanding your seller's goals. Every seller has different, a different mindset in the selling process. I think understanding that is probably most important. They trust us as the expert. So going through the numbers and giving your honest opinion on what you think it would sell for. I take the showing report, which is it's not rocket science, but going through the showing data for the zip codes is what we typically try to showcase during that appointment. While on market, I think most of us do at least a weekly phone call. I think doing a bi-weekly or 2 times a week check-in phone call helps kind of take the tension down from the sellers. So.
Yeah, and then with those weekly calls too, I think maybe Mike talked to us, or maybe Alan, in a meeting of ours, always end the conversation with or set the expectation that when you are checking in weekly, this is my process, we're gonna go on the market, you're gonna hear from me at least once a week, and we're gonna talk about price, we're gonna talk about activity, we're gonna talk about feedback, things like that that's going on, and then also about price. So that way, when you want to talk about price, it's just expected, and that it's not awkward. Oh, here she is. Now we gotta lower the price or what have you. So that's made it a little bit more comfortable to bring it up. Let's see. Oh, so something I've been doing, I know the other group mentioned, kind of little pop buys while they're on the market. I haven't done that yet, and I like that idea. Something I have been doing after, because like we say, it's a beauty contest right now, and I tell my sellers that, and so there's a lot of work in getting the listing ready for the market and all of that. And so the other day when the photographers came, I sent my client to the spa on me to go have a pedi mani and go relax because she just worked so hard on getting the house ready. So she loved that. And whenever I do an open house, I always buy flowers for the open house and for my presentation on the table. And then I leave it for the seller with a handwritten note with a recap on how things went at the open house and your home looked beautiful or whatever you want to say. So that always just kind of leaves a nice mark on it. And what's the...
Well, one more thing I would suggest is I've been doing is at the end of my here's what I've done is to say, and what are your thoughts? And it's hard to say that because we don't really want to know what they think. But most of the time they sell you. They end up, you're doing great. And if they say something stupid do you think maybe a video or a picture, just do it. Stop arguing, just do it.
Yeah, you don't have to know everything.
Good. That's beautiful. That's awesome. 5 seconds. That's perfect. Good. All right. All right, next up, Molly, Carol, Marie. Oh, wait, who's going? Jim, and Bill are going next? All right. Then the girls are after. All right. Here's your other one.
They're my bouncers. Three-step process to doing a listing. Three-step process to a listing to a paycheck. Number one, on listings, I never use comps. I never use them because comps could be a week ago. It doesn't matter. I only use what's active. So what I'll do is I'll run comps to figure out the value of a range of the house. So let's say the houses were in the range of 700. Then I go back and I'll look at let's say what's for sale between 600 and 800, right? And then you look at those houses that are for sale. So if we list the house today, who's going to buy this house? So let's say there's 20 houses out there for sale. There's 5 under contract. That means there's 4 months worth of inventory. If we're going to sell 5 houses this month in your range, let's say for a ranch that's 700 grand, why are they going to buy your house? And I'm looking at the 20 houses, and I just show it to them. Okay, there's 20 houses. What you tell me what the price is? Okay, you want $750 for the house, but all the comps are coming in. Everything is out. All the active items out there are $675. So I make the seller figure out what the price is. The other thing I do too, on every single one of my listing presentations, I use page 8 from the report that Alan sends out every month from DMAR. That's the chart of the market. It shows the market from 2008 to current. It shows all the sales and all the closings, and it's exactly the same every single year. The market is exactly the same every year. Doesn't matter how many sales there are, how much inventory is out there. The market goes up from January to June 30th down to December 31st, and that shows them exactly where they are in the cycle, where they are on what's out there for sale, and all that kind of stuff. And I have them figure it out. So we really don't have a conversation about the price. The price conversation is always, well, I need $800 for the house because I got to pay off 3 mortgages, or I got to pay off 3 cars, and I got to pay for my kids' college, and blah blah blah. So that's a whole separate conversation, right? So then the second thing is, and I never tell them this in a listing presentation, but I do it after the fact, is every Monday afternoon I run a report and send it to them. It's called market info, and I tell them what went under contract over the last 6 or 7 days. Okay, we listed a house at 700 grand. Everything went under contract was at 675. So clearly you're overpriced and your house is dated and all the stuff at 675 is newer and updated. I let them look at it. I tell them to go on Zillow and look at the houses that went under contract. Your house is dated, your house is overpriced, and let them figure it out. And they're the ones who always come back to me in about a month and says, I'm overpriced, aren't I? Of course you are. So it's not on my shoulders. Because I just got tired of getting yelled at all the time. So I just tell them, okay, these 5 houses went under contract over the weekend. We weren't one of them. You take a look at it. You figure it out. Because I'm the marketing guy and negotiator. I don't sell the houses. Your house sells itself. And then on the third step, after we go into contract, I just become a full-service broker. We need a radon guy. We need a moving company to get you out of here. We need a maintenance guy to fix a bunch of this stuff. We need an HVAC guy. And I just have a whole bunch of subs that I know are really good, and I recommend to them. And I know they're not going to rip them off. They're the smaller guys that aren't a big corporation, that kind of stuff. And whatever we need for inspections or to get them moved, they're happy because everything gets done and they're closed and they're out of here. And that's it.
Yeah, well, just one thing that really happened. I always set expectations that I'm going to call my sellers on Monday afternoon. And so my assistant says, so-and-so's calling you right now, and it's one of my listings. I always tell them, okay, well, you watch. And I end up getting a price reduction because they called me. So, setting expectations is really cool. And I have a minister right now that she tells me that, hey, Jim, God's going to tell me it's okay when God's ready for sell my house, I'm going to be okay. And I said, well, God sent me to tell you the truth about what the market is.
I believe that. I totally believe that. All right, ladies. Molly, Carrie, Marie, Carol, come on. Kelly, you being the spokesperson? Oh, all right, you and Marie?
Yeah, mainly.
There you go, you're both.
Greetings. How are you? Okay. So at the beginning, it's everybody's talked about setting the right expectations. So going into a listing appointment, especially when you've got a smaller farm and every third person in Roxborough is a real estate agent, it tends to be tough to set yourself apart. And I think that with everything that's going on right now, we need to set ourselves apart. So one of the things that I do when we first go in, as I said, I need you guys to set aside some time before we go through any of the listing appointment stuff, and we're going to go on a field trip. And they're like, a field trip? I'm like, yes, and you don't need a permission slip. So we go on a field trip, and I get a list of the homes that are active both in, if there are any in the community, and also in the neighboring communities that might be competing with us. Because Alan said something before too, it's not just maybe our own farm that we used to do. Now it's Sterling Ranch, and now it's Arrowhead Shores, and now it's some other stuff, and not just Chatfield Farms, which is my farm. So we go on a field trip, and I take them in to all the active listings and said, okay, this is your competition, so put your buyer hat on. So they go in, I said, I want you to take notes and compare it to your home, okay? Then we also, if we can, get into some pendings. Here's what they went under, here's where they are. I don't know what they went under contract for, unless they'll tell me, so that they can really see what they're up against. And that takes away whoever said, well, so-and-so sold their home a year ago and it sold for $650,000. Mine's a lot nicer, so I think it should sell for $700,000 when all the competition that's there right now is selling for $625,000 or $600,000 or lower, depending on their upgrades. So that's a big thing that helps. The other thing is when we get ready, I talk about, and I stole it from Jim Romano and you, of the 6 key steps to success. And that's a list of everything that I do. And I make sure that we put it in there, and it's anything from inspecting the roof and sewer line. You do major components to make sure that the showstoppers are all taken care of, and that we know that nothing's going to come up that's going to blow this up. And we give that, put it on supplemental documents. The other thing that I also do is a move-out clean. That's everybody's favorite. They don't care. They're like, I don't have to clean my house. I said, yeah, but don't trash it, please. And then I do a binder of vendors. So when we get to the inspection point and they're going, okay, now we've got all this stuff, I said, okay, we don't have a problem. Here's your list of vendors and everything. Let's give them a call. They already have that at their fingertips. So it's just preparing them. And the last thing I do in the middle of it is if we are on the market, what I try and find out ahead of time is what their mortgage is. So if I just go, okay, well, you're paying right now $3,000 a month. In 5 months, that's going to be $15,000 that you've already spent. Now we're lowering the price. Now you're going to get lower than that. So if we just take that $15,000, to Christy's point, go out there on the market with that $15,000 in mind and set it there. Even if you think you're at $850,000, let's go to $835,000. Chances are you're not spending that money that you're going to be spending anyway. Now you're spending even more when we get lowballed because we price too high.
Good stuff. Okay, a couple extra little things. One is it matters who says it. So Larry Kindle did a video recently. I have a listing that's competing against new construction. And if you're competing against new construction, it's a challenge. She knows, she showed it. So Larry Kindle said, though, sellers like to think, I paid this, I put this much into it, I ought to get that much out of it. Larry Kindle says, take what you paid, what you put into it, and subtract 10%. And that's a big chunk of change. And it's hard for a seller to swallow in this market, but that's about what it takes to sell a home when you're competing against new construction. And again, it matters who says it. So find a source that you can cite, that they can look at, and learn that it's not just you trying to talk them down on price. The other thing that we talked about is just the experience. I do things along the way. I really like the extra pop buys along the way when they're listed for a while, but I do little gifts when they go under contract. The biz box when they get ready to start moving. Things like that, just to make the experience better, and they love it. I took one of Kelly's ideas, which was to make a Shutterfly book of the home when they're departing home. And last week's closing, I've never seen anybody open it. Last week they cried. I'm like, I didn't mean to make you cry, but I knew that they loved their departing home as much as the one that they're moving to. So.
There were
You're out.
All right.
That was the hook. Good job. Great job, you guys. Great job, great job. All right, boys. Ryan, Chad, Dane, Landon, come on. You gonna run out of space? Who's speaking? You? Everybody is? All right. All right. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so wanted to start off with the pre-listing presentation here. This is something that I have been implementing recently, and it's been very successful. So this is for those moments where you have someone reach out, they want to sell their home, they're interviewing multiple agents, they're not sure who they're going to go with, they don't really have time to maybe get everyone in their house quickly or whatever to see the house and walk it. Or maybe this is just someone who you really, really, really want to impress or just send a lot of content, valuable content to. So basically how this works is I send 3 emails. The first email is all about the market trends and data for their listing. So that's their zip code, and that's based off of the comps that I pull. The second email is all about the comps that I pulled. So the active competition and the sold comps. And I go over all of that in the second email. The third email is all about the marketing, strategy, and pricing. And the thing that I do on top of all 3 of these emails is I film a video where I screen share and I walk through the video and the highlights. It's a lot of content, and that could be overwhelming for some sellers to look through. It's a lot of good stuff that they need to know, but so I send over these 3 emails and then a video breaking them down, and then I say, let me know when you've had some time to review it, and I'd love to come in and take a look at your home, and we can go over this in more detail. And then that's when I do more of the official listing presentation. But so far, it has been incredibly successful. So.
Thank you, Landon. All right, so to follow up, thank you for having me to your home. I hope that you got the 3 emails I sent with videos, and we are very proud to present this home on the market for you. So my goal as your agent, my job as your agent, is to create 4 things when we list your house. We are creating clarity, so that is getting your vision and your goals, figuring out what's important to you. We are creating a presence. That's our marketing strategy. You've watched the video on some of the stuff we do. You know already that we do more high-quality professional level service items when we market your home, so that when your house goes on the market, you have no concerns that you've left any stone unturned. And when we're talking about market and pricing strategy, you're not concerned that we left money on the table because we didn't expose your home to potential buyers out there anywhere in the world. Number 3 is we are creating persuasion. Something that you all need to know as home sellers is that buyer psychology has changed. So the way people look at homes now, the way they buy homes, the way they think about how they're making offers has changed. So our persuasion strategy is now a little bit different. We will talk about that here shortly. And then we create creativity in your market, and that is in your marketing strategy, and that is listening and reacting to the market itself as we are on the market. And these are things that we talk about prior to going on the market, including also listing prep for your home, which is helping persuade buyers the best way that we can. And that encompasses everything from staging to decor and all of the above on getting your house ready to sell. So during the listing, Chad's going to talk a little bit about that.
All right, you left me with 30 seconds, thanks.
Thanks, Landon.
All right, so first and foremost, obviously we know in a difficult market like this, communication is utmost important, right? Everyone's been saying that. So you've got to be communicating with your sellers at least once to twice a week, I think. And really, personally, I do a really detailed email, but then I always follow it up, pick up the phone, and you have a conversation through it, okay? Creativity, so just thinking outside the box, this is this freaking open houses that I don't want to do. But what else you want to do with creativity? What else you put that? Oh, AI, but we're learning that today. All right, moving on. Data. I'm a big data guy. So really following InfoSparks, following hit counters on MLS, and really trying to follow the Becky when she sends out the weekly showing reports. Really trying to follow the data and articulating that data to the sellers every single week is really, really crucial. The other thing that I do is I always set up a home search inside their neighborhood. So whoever's going to be our direct competition, they're going to get a home search. They're going to get dinged immediately when there's an active, something goes pending or something goes or is sold or pulled off the market, so that we're all watching the active inventory. I think what Jim Garcia said is perfect. Who gives a shit about the solds? It's all about where is our competition today. Analyzing markets weekly, I already said that. And then a big one that I've been doing now is every single time an agent schedules a showing my listing, picking up the phone and introducing myself. I typically now just kind of lead with, hey, just so you know, my sellers have left all the lights on in the house, just leave them the way they are. And then I try to find one or two things about the house that we can, I can kind of share. Then I always follow up saying, hey, I'll be reaching out to you to get a little bit more feedback after your showing, either later today or tomorrow, whatever. It is the most painful piece of our market right now is not getting the feedback from buyer's agent. And there's two different spectrums on that. But we have to fight and try to get that feedback because that is critical. We cannot rely on each other in this room to give that, and that's the cold hard truth. So you got to go get that feedback to give it to your folks. I always wrap all this into the weekly communication with them. Anyway, so there's during the listing presentation, then here's the post. If you get lucky and you get to the closing.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get to that point. Really, I got the easy one, the post-closing. It's kind of a no-brainer. Just be present, be relevant, be part of their lives. It should be the easiest thing we do, but it's probably the biggest one that people drop the ball on. Most people in this room invest a lot to get new business, but you don't invest in your closings and your closed business.
Flashing red light or not, but that means you're way over.
That was not my fault, Brad. Okay,
this was just
be present, be relevant. I always joke.
Part of your overtime doesn't click here.
Matters.
You're done. Get off the stage.
I love you, Brad.
I'm just wondering, when you walk into the listing appointment with a beer in hand, does that help or hinder? Just wondering. Asking for a friend.
That's what I was thinking.
Those
guys will get the listing because that's how you're supposed to show up like that.
Just so you know,
Yes.
there's a little Remax professional story that I got to tell with that, because my very first day at Remax Professionals, we had lots of beers in hand, and we used to still do tour. And the very first day, is Shackles still here? Shackles leave? He left because he didn't want to present.
He's outside on the phone.
We got in Shackles' car. Me, Alan Granruth, Mike Brown, all guys still here. Got a case of beer, 6 houses, 6 beers each. I called my wife at noon and I said, I'm not sure that I can do this because I'm pretty sure I'm drunk and it's noon and I'm not sure I'm in the right place. And 32 years later, here I still sit.
I think it was your bartending influence.
It could have been. That's totally it. All right, Deanna, Susie, Kristen, Moises, here you go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. So I think that the most important thing when you show up to that house is really create rapport and get to know who you have in front of you, or even prior to it, because our energy is important. Like we were saying, we have to be careful with our energy, and also with the seller's energy and the respect for them. So I hear a lot about statistics and numbers and all that. What if the person doesn't want to hear about that? You know, there are different circumstances in life. A widow, somebody who just really needs to make the move no matter how much they are going to make. I think it's more important to ask questions and find out who are you talking to. That's my biggest point at the beginning. Because once I find out, yeah, I know that I have statistics and I have numbers that I want to share and I want to do weekly follow-ups, but what if they are not interested in that? For example, I am someone who wants to see the numbers, but I want to make a decision quickly on some decisions in my life, including selling a home, because I need to do the next thing, and I need to do the next thing. So I want to make sure that I tailor in that moment that I am getting to know that seller, a plan for that seller. Know what I think that I need to talk and say. It's like ask more, listen more, and talk less. That's the very beginning. Now, then I do talk about the house, the condition. How many times have you guys had a seller that say, oh, but the roof is new and the furnace is new and therefore I gotta ask for more? It's like, no, that's a standard. You're supposed to have a good roof. You're supposed to have a good furnace. You're not supposed to ask for more because that's just the standard to be able to even get into the market at a fair market value. So that kind of stuff I do. And then the example about the payments and how much is always, everything in life and business is money and time. So it's like, how fast can you sell the house and how much am I going to make? So all those examples about how much it's going to cost me to keep this house 6 months on if I have a payment of whatever, $5,000 a month. So do the math and then start from there. That's my part.
Yeah, I just want to jump on your coattails because I think going into the appointment and actually listening before we talk, and we come in with an agenda, that's what we do, but actually listening to what their needs are and having some compassion, maybe starting with compassion and really realizing what it is that they want. Generally, they want to sell their home for the highest price in the shortest amount of time. And when they tell me that, I said, well, that's great because that's my goal too. I want to help you get your home sold for the highest price, but I want to help you get your home sold. And so I think coming in with emotional intelligence and compassion, I also think, and you guys have already, all great ideas, I think it's important to know the Zillow number because I know they know. And I like to hear what they like to think their house should sell for, and then I can either reinforce but generally prove it wrong by showing them what actually is happening, but ultimately just, you know, going in with maybe a listening ear first and you know, then going in with our agenda second, so.
Super important to involve them in the process of listing the home. So I always set them up on their own portal search so that they see actively. I love the field trip idea, but we can do that online. We don't have to get in our cars and do that. So that they can see, they may think they have the greatest home in the neighborhood, but once they see what an updated home really looks like, that involves them in the process. So I'm not just talking at them, but involving them as much in the process as possible. And then I think sweet touch point at the end, when everybody's a little grumpy, maybe it's been an exhausting process, always clean their house for them.
The one thing that works for me, I'm going to say 99% of the time, I say 99 because I'm huge in the Hispanic community, unless I'm competing with Diana, maybe she gets a listing. But yeah, so I do work, I do 2 listings or 2 appointments at the house. First, I get to know the house, and then I do a consultation with the seller. So at the second appointment, I come back with my listing presentation and my photos and everything. So it works 100%. And communication.
We still have 4 minutes.
No, we're not quite there. All right, Deanna, hurry.
I think one question that has helped me in this market is when I ask them how much do you think you can sell your home for, and they say, okay, see, $750,000, and I ask them, how much of a house can a buyer get in this market for $750,000? And I kind of guide them into the portal also and show them how much people and how much they are asking out there and really comparing houses and getting to know. And usually the answer comes from them. They are like, oh, I am overpricing the home as it is.
Yeah.
So just ask more instead of talking too much.
Good,
Just
I
ask
like
more.
it. I like it. Thank you very much. All right, Deb, Kurt, Dave. Who else is we still got? You guys, next group, come on and get in line. Hi, Deb.
Hello. Okay. Lots of expectations to be set with sellers. So what we're doing is we are sending them in advance a questionnaire for them to answer before we get to the appointment. So we know what it is that we are actually talking to them about, countering them about, or providing them information. So some people like a lot of data, some people don't. Some people are selling because they have to sell and they're in a situation that is forcing them to be on a specific timeline, and also about your house value. How do you perceive your house to be compared to others in the neighborhood? What do you think you need to do to it? So these questions help, and what they're really doing is guiding you. So when you're walking into that first appointment, you have that data already in hand and guiding your presentation. So rather than necessarily asking them at the first appointment, you're getting that information up front.
Well, yeah, and then so as you go into that first appointment, you have essentially their hot buttons and heartburns of what you can press on and what you can avoid in that conversation as necessary. But I like the idea of the field trip. That's something I just did on my last one, where I sit down with the seller, we show them on paper what the averages look like, what their house should look like, what the comparables look like, and they're like, wow, ours is just so much better than those comparables. It's just so nice. I said, yeah, let's go check them out. Let's go ahead. I can book it right now, and it's just 2 blocks over. We'll walk over right now and take a look at it. And we went in there, and they see the quartz countertops and versus their laminate countertops, and they see the fresh paint and where they have touch up, and they see the brand new carpet where they have the stains from the 5 cats, and they start to think, well, geez, maybe I can't compete with this one head on. And so then when we sit down, they came back and they're like, I mean, that one was in the 4s. We should probably be in the 3s. And I said, well, I think you can be in the high 3s. But yeah, I think you can compete with them, but not on price. You can compete on them with value. And but just those kind of expectations and going into it. One thing I also like to let them know is that at some point during this process, we're going to receive an offer, and it's not going to maybe be a good offer. And when I'm walking through that house with them and I say, if this was me and you were my buyer right now, and I saw that this house is on the market for 45 days and they just did a price drop, $15,000, we're going to come in $20,000 less than this. And let them sit with that, because that's the expectation that they should have if they're sitting on the market for that amount of time. And that way when it comes up, if they won't be shocked, and they will be, they'll be ready to take on that challenge.
Lots of good things so far. One thing that our team does, I'm on Alan's team, so I mostly just do what he tells me to. But one thing that we talk to sellers about in our listing presentation is how much our sellers are spending on average to get their house ready to sell. Maybe we should keep better track of exactly how much people are spending, but we know it's roughly $15,000 to $20,000, whether it's carpet, paint, appliances, countertops. It could be any of those things. But when we share that with them, they're like, oh, okay, maybe it is okay if I invest a little bit of money to get my house ready to go to the market, because as we all know, it is a beauty contest right now. You have to be priced well and you have to show well. So just some food for thought there. Our light's blinking, so I'll just finish with that.
That's a good one, Dave. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, Dukes, Jen, Gina, John, Joan. Jeez. Oh, not you. Good, thank God. That was a tongue twister. All right, ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
What we do is we first enter the client's house and we ask them, why are you selling? And it's important to find out why they're selling, what are their motivations, what's going on in their life, because that has a lot to do with the timeline that you set up for them. My attitude is you get one and done. You get one shot in the house and you take it. I don't go for follow-up appointments or any of that, because that gives them opportunity to think about it and shop you. The other thing is I like to set expectations. And if you set expectations up front, it's not a shock to them in the middle when you come and say, hey, we need a price change or we need to adjust some things. Then I ask them to give me a tour of the house, go through the house, and of course I'm looking and analyzing everything that I see that needs to be repaired. And then I talk about the condition with them, and I ask them, what do you think your house looks like? And we kind of talk and chat, and then I talk about the things that I think needs to be done. And then I talk about my concierge service, that what we offer to help you make your house not your investment to get the money back, but your investment to get the same price that everybody else is. Make yours prettier at the same price. We talk about paint, carpet, appliances. The other thing I start into is the state of the market. What's going on? What are the factors that are pushing prices up or down, especially in the neighborhood? The other is, again, review the competition that's around them. I don't go too far out. I try to keep it around in their neighborhood and say, this is who we're competing against, and that's how we should establish a price. I ask their thoughts on their price, and of course they're going to say it's crazy high. And then I go through and I think this is really what your price should be. Again, you know, setting that expectation and being the professional and the guy that knows the math and not stumble through it, just make sure that you come across that you're really knowledgeable of everything and that you can they can rely on you and your expertise and why they're paying you the fee that you're making.
Oh. Okay, so I got to take on while we're on the market, which is at least a weekly update. So we've all talked about this, and we love talking to our clients, especially when you've been on the market for 30, 60, 90 days, and you're every week wondering what you're going to tell them. We like to give a complete update each week, which is our market update. So on Mondays, those go out, gives us all the information about what's going on in the market, suggestions for changes. Is it price? Is it condition? What needs to be changed? And then set and then reset expectations. So if you've been on the market and we've set an expectation of where we're going to be with price or condition or whatever, well, we may have to now reset that expectation and go a step further to get this done, okay? And then multiple touches, either marketing as a service, AdWorks, any of the other things we do. So our weekly update is all, you know, market conditions, comps, that type of stuff, and then we try to get multiple touches, so another one or two, you know, calls, texts, emails throughout the week to update them on what's going on, or, hey, did you guys hear about this thing with Zillow, or this great information that we had from NAR on this, you know, latest update. Go ahead, Jen.
10 seconds. All right. So I'm supposed to talk about post-closing, but I think everybody does a lot of similar things, and you just generally care about the clients that you've helped and you've gotten to know throughout months of spending time with them. And so I pick up the phone and I call them. I love handwritten notes because that gives me true time to think about them and care about them, and it gives me, you know, 2 minutes of only focusing on them. But as far as the listings, I'm going to talk a little bit about what you were talking about. Like, we have all of these amazing things that we can do for pre-listing appointments. It's okay to say no, too, to a listing. I did that last week. I had all the amazing things to say and had a great plan for this client, and he thought his house was this high, and I told him to do it for sale by owner or call a different agent because I wanted to sleep at night, and we all have balance in our lives. So that's what he's going to put up a sign tomorrow, and he keeps calling me for my contractors and all the things that's probably happened to everybody here, but it's okay to say no to some of these things, even if we do the best job possible. So
Thanks, Jen.
Oh, geez.
All right.
I will say this.
Go ahead, here, take a microphone.
I really don't need the microphone.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Kelly, you mentioned holding costs. So I just want to say our new financial app is fantastic because it will make you look like a genius at your numbers. I'm not a numbers girl, and I love that program. But the holding cost is so relevant right now. And Mike Dugan gave me an elbow and said, hey, that's about your app. So thanks.
It is.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, who's next? Mick, Joan, Jen. Oh.
Take it from my
Oh, and Landis. Gotta have a little music.
Okay, my best thing to say here is be prepared. I have set up something in ChatGPT that will actually create a dossier on my new listings. So I put in the seller's name, I put in their address, and I say, tell me everything about it. And it tells me that Bell Mountain Ranch has 321 homes there with an average sale price of this or this or that. And by the way, my sellers might have just recently had a divorce, or someone might have just had a death in their family. And these might be some reasons because they've lived in the house for 10 years. And I get 30 seconds, so I'm passing this on.
You wanna go? I think to go on with Jen, what she just said is basically, I've been like the second agent, I think 5 times this year. You can say no. So I have actually said recently, if you don't listen to me, this isn't gonna work. So we have to work together to come up with that price, and the first price was not a good idea. So, and I did list that one, and we are under contract. So there you go.
All right, I got during the transaction, and I'm just going to say what you all already said. So I'm just going to keep it like that. So like the Emmys, I don't want to take away from the Children's Hospital, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet.
Beautiful. Pizza on moving day, seller property information forms, annual CMAs, ask us for referrals, give them their Excel information form. That's it. We win.
It's a quick
Rick is time.
I am going to tell you, walk-up song and finishing with 2 minutes left, 10 extra points for you guys. All right. Lou, Stephanie, Shaylin. All right. You guys are on now.
All right, we sort of broke this down a little bit as to initial meetings, under contract, and post-closing. My personal approach on the listing meeting is two-stage. Two-stage meeting. I want to learn a little more about what they want. I personally like to create a real sense of calmness and confidence with the seller so they know I have control. I'm not making a speech here. I'm just going to converse with them over 20 years worth of experience. I want to know what their expectation is, so I have an idea of where I'm going. If they're numbers people, you analyze that in a hurry. If they're soft people, if they're, who's going to clean my oven, who's going to wash the dishes, blah, blah, blah. You can figure out who they are so that second meeting you can come back and cater to who they are. They don't really give a damn about who I am. They want to talk about themselves. I tour the house, look at what they've done to the house, let them brag a little bit, let them take control of the ego so they feel confident that they may think they have control, but really I think I still have the control. I'll come back with a second meeting and address whether it's finances, whether it's timeline, whether it's who's going to clean the oven, who's going to help with the estate sale. Every seller has a different motive, and I think we have to cater to that. Once we're under contract, Stephanie?
Okay. So one of the things, I'm really big in AI, ChatGPT. So I'll take anybody know what the showing time target market analysis reports are? If you don't, you need to know them because it tells you the number of showings, what price ranges. I will take that 3-page PDF and upload it to ChatGPT. So here's my prompt. You are a data analyst, real estate expert. Analyze the attached PDF, which is from Showing Time, 3-page benchmark report, target analysis. Summarize the report for my seller who owns a house and has the home for sale. Tell me what trends and highlights you identify. So every Monday, I take that, and I also do info stars, which if you don't know that, you need to know it, because it's from MLS, it's free. You can put in the number of bedrooms, make it really tight, so it's like a CMA or a comparable. Upload any of that, you guys, as long as you prompt, and if I'm way above your head, go to Dane. No, but I'll create a CMA now. I've created prompts for CMAs in ChatGPT. But basically, it'll tell you, here it is. It creates an email. 3 showings in the first 29 days. By day 29, similar active listings average 7.7 showings. Pendings average 17 showings and sold average 11.6 showings. Takeaway. Buyer traffic to your home has been below average compared to both homes that are still active and those that have gone under contract. I mean, I could go on and on. Days on market, takeaway. Many homes are selling much faster than yours, particularly those priced in the sweet spot for buyers. But if anybody wants to see what this looks like, it is amazing. It takes me 5 minutes. And Sandy, are you scratching your head? But
I use it and I have no shame using it.
Yeah.
And my clients think I'm a rock star.
No, they do, because there's nothing better. Data doesn't lie, right? If you show them the data, ChatGPT can be your best friend. Just upload the reports and it'll spout out a very professional data analytical presentation.
I think my clients probably think I put an hour or more into it, and it took me 5 minutes.
It's true. It's
so,
amazing.
I guess I could talk about post-closing. So lately, I have not been doing a closing gift at closing. I have been going later, 3, 6 months, and so on, just bringing by a gift basket or, a cool knife or something like that. But again, you have to make sure that you connect with your clients to know their culture, et cetera, things that they need. I have really dove in the last couple of years to emotional intelligence and how I connect better with people. And I think that's what's really grabbing me, at least on my listings. I'm getting a lot the same listings that there's the stale listings, and I'm like, oh no, not one of these again. But if you market yourself a little bit different than the rest, and then you really listen to them, like what the other agent did wrong, I think that just separates you from others. I think that's my biggest strength, is I listen more than I talk always. So
that's good. I was just going to say one more thing. Doing these MLS listings, you try to figure out how to write them. So you do ChatGPT. But one of the things I've been doing is, who is the buyer? So I have a house in Castle Pines, or one in Berkeley right now. And I'm just scratching my head because I'm like, where are our buyers? So you got to know who your buyer is, right? So if you put in, let's say, let's do my Berkeley listing, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, ADU zoned, ready to go, ready to move into, great neighborhood. You put all those things into ChatGPT and you say, I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer looking for a house like this. And I put those things in there. It will come up. So one of the things I tell my sellers is, I can help identify who your buyer is, and all my marketing is going to be pointed towards that buyer demographic on AdWorks or whatever you use. So just another thought I had.
Great idea. Good job. Great idea. Love that. Let's go. So? Then
For you to have me believe that you
go.
came up with everything that they said?
Come on.
You thought of all of it? I don't believe that.
Come on.
You got
All of
nothing
you.
different.
You got one thing. You're the last group. We got 4 minutes left. Let's do it.
Start the clock. Start the clock. There it
We
is.
got 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
3:57, 3:56.
Lisa, Christy, Pam, Debbie, Tanya, Damon. You didn't follow the damn rules in the first place. You got 6.
We thought we were being respectful so we could get out quicker.
All right, I was in charge of before, because I've already told you what I do. And just for the record, I did not market that house at $599. The seller wanted to price it at $599, and I told him to be at $529. So Mike said something. $529. And it sold for $540. Anyway, so I think the biggest thing that everybody's saying when I go into a listing, first thing I do is give me a tour of your house so they can talk about themselves and talk about how great their house is. And then you can develop that rapport, and then we sit down and kind of chat about the market. And I think what I said before is telling everybody how our market has shifted. And I can't tell you how many sellers say, I wish I would have sold it 3 years ago, because our market is so different. So showing them what our inventory is and looking at all the actives, and when they try to say this active is at this price, and you let them know that house has been on the market for 60 days, it still hasn't sold, that house is overpriced. So I think just setting the expectations like everybody said and being honest with them and be very compassionate because everybody's situation is different. And I don't know who said it, but I'm probably going to do this on Friday at a listing appointment, walk away when they want to overprice it because it's not worth it.
Okay, great. So I have my clients put a love letter in the home and talk about all the things that they love about their home. It just ties them in emotionally, and I really like that. And it's like birds of a feather flock together. So what I try to do is when I'm meeting for a listing appointment, we want to make sure this is like a good fit. I said it's almost like being married to me. I'm sorry. Because everybody has different languages and has different approaches. And this last year, I had more terminations than I've ever had for the last 17 years. And so I've taken a step back. I've fired some people. And I've also been just realizing, because it was losing confidence in me, and I thought this is not worth it. So I had to approach things differently. And one of the things that I have been doing with, especially my high-end luxury listings, I did an interview with a Bernese mountain dog. And we were talking about the house, and I'm like, so what do you think? And I talked to the dog, and then the dog wouldn't do anything. But then it was engaging, and it was fun. I don't know if it really motivated somebody that wanted to live there, but I'm trying to do new, unique, and different kinds of things to try to get people's attention.
So we're going down the row. So my listings, I haven't had any trouble at all getting them sold. To say, maybe I shouldn't say that yet because I have four listings coming on, but it's just prepping the sellers, and it's similar to taking the field trip. I show them, the different square footage. I show them the updates that they have and you don't have, and I had one that she wanted to sell at $650. Actually, $700 is where she started, and we ended up closing at $490. So, yeah, she's lived in it 40 years, and she's never done any updates to it. So part of that was based on the inspection and the buyers terminating and then having to share that inspection. So with all that being said, my biggest problem is that I'm working with the elderly, and they don't have email. So I get to go to the house so many times, you can't believe it. So it's a lot of fun.
So I've been following up with my sellers after closing, like I do my buyers, like a week after. How did your move out go? How are you in your new location? Instead of just walking away and them not hearing from me.
And for a closing gift, one of the best ideas is to offer what they need right then. Do you need help moving? Do you need help cleaning the house? Offering some of those services rather than, a gift that they may or may not need. But we also do the hand-painted ornament, so that's another wonderful closing gift.
And I'm Charlie. These are my angels. Thank you very much.
Pretty good. That's a lot more accurate than you guys think, honestly. All right. Everybody got their piece. All right. Time to get a winner. Because everybody remembers all the details from everybody's presentation, right? So let's just get a little applause going. This won't be a scientific process. It'll be the best I can get. All right. Here's Rick, Erica, Jenny. Yes? Yes. Okay, I'll recap. It's gonna take us 100 hours. Seller interview. It's not about I can't read your writing. It's not about what you want, but it's about what the market will bear. Be painfully honest and respectfully do so. All right? What do you think? Good? Okay, good. Lisa, Mark, Brandon, George, 360 seller experience. The hook to capture the seller's heartstrings. Use what the seller loved about the house to market the house. Pop buys, lottery tickets. Envelope after closing to invite them to their client appreciation program. Applause, yes? That away. Stack the deck, baby. All right. Brandon, Mike, Dave, This was the, I think, 361 and a half degree program. Listening to who?
Just move fears.
You can't even read your own damn writing. Listening to fears. Our role versus the client's role. Communicate in small bites. Deliver value at different stages of the listing. Know what to say, when to say it. Plan ahead. Set expectations. Yes? Good. Kyla, Dustin, I don't know who is else there because you didn't write it down. 3 parts to the listing appointment. Marketing. Here, you go.
3 parts of the listing appointment. The market sucks. Aspirational pricing, fair market, auction pricing. Yes, thank you very much. Understanding your seller's opinions and objectives. Who was, Lauren, were you in this group? Jana. Oh, Jana, okay, got it. Bullshit what? I did not. All right, how about an applause? Okay, that was pretty good, Okay, Jim, and Bill. 3-step process. Never use sold comps, only actives. Who are we competing with? Market history, weekly market intel report, and service providers. Pretty good. Okay. All right. Good. Dimes, Marie, Carol, and Molly. Seller field trip to comparable actives. 6 keys to success. Move out clean. Binders of vendors. Cost of staying on the market based on mortgage payment. That was good. I like that. How much are you paying monthly? How much is it going to cost you to stay on the market? That was really good. It matters who says it. Find your source you can cite, like builder information. Shutterfly book at the departing home. Applause. Okay. I don't know. The ladies in Moises. Create rapport. Ask more, listen more, talk less. Set the standard, roof, HVAC, etc., for letting the seller know what their house needs to be prepped as to before they go on the market. Know the Zillow price and the seller's price. Involve the sellers in the process. 2-stage listing appointment. How much house can a buyer get for the same price? I mean, understanding ad class. Pretty good. Okay. Deb, Kurt, and Dave, pre-listing questionnaire. That was good. How do you see your house fitting into the market? Know their hot buttons. I don't know what I wrote there. Set the offer expectation and set expectations on getting ready to go on the market, I guess. Deb, Kurt, and Dave. Huh? Okay. Not bad. John, Dugan, Jen, and Gina. Understand what the seller's goals are. Be honest about what needs to be done to prep for listings. Give them the state of the market. During the process, weekly updates on the market. Post, consistent communication. It's okay to say no. That's the first time we heard that for the day. All right, this one. Not bad. I don't know who is, Joan Pratt, Mick, Jen, Landon. Be prepared. If you aren't willing to listen, this won't work. Annual CMAs, pizza at moving day, and XL, I'm not sure what that is. XL, what did you say, Lando? You told me that and I forgot. What's that?
No, that was alcohol, free alcohol.
Free alcohol. Oh, it's helping them shut off their XL service, their services. Okay. Lou, Shaylin, and Stephanie Fix. Know your audience so that you can tailor your info to who they are. 2-stage meeting, answer questions, showing time, target analysis. So putting your report into ChatGPT and getting an analysis on that. That's going to be tough to beat, Stephanie Fix. Good job. Okay, the Casey ladies and Damon. Learn about your sellers first, develop rapport, then talk price. Love letter for the seller in the home. That was good for the buyers to see. Creative marketing. Interview the dog. Who's interviewing the dog? Good job. Okay. Predetermined post-closing check-in and home services as a closing gift, giving them something valuable to home services. Okay. All right, last one. Ryan, Chad, Dane, and Landon pre-listing presentation. 3 emails, market data, active comps, sold comps, video breaking down all the information. 4 things: clarity, presence, persuasion strategy, presence strategy, persuasion strategy, creative listening to the market. Communication is key. We heard that a dozen times. Detailed email followed up by a phone call, data, everything else. Setting up a home search on their home, using sort of a reverse use for a auto delivery of active listings in their neighborhood. That's a pretty good one too. Okay? Yeah? Okay.
I don't think there's any question. I think that Lou, Shaylin, and Stephanie. So just so you know, there is a prize. T, $200, $200 on their office bill for all 3 of them.
We should have said that earlier.
Yeah. Hey, there's no better way to get honest feedback than to not make it worth shit and then add it in at the end. That was perfect. Good job, you guys. Let me ask you guys this. Different format, different setup, different place. Did everybody get something today? Yeah? Tell me, look to your left, look to your right. Tell me there's not somebody that's sitting next to you that's pretty damn good in this business. Except maybe you, Dr. Dan. Yeah. Huh? Good.
Hey, before we close up here, couple of things, guys. Let's give Rich a hand. He's been videoing the whole process. And we will figure out a way to share this so you guys can go back and review some notes. Let me give you one thing. You guys have almost everybody in this room should have an email inviting you to the training for final offer. If you haven't signed up, please sign up. Tomorrow is our first day. We basically took kind of the top 20% and said, let's take you guys on the first round. So we have 2 sessions tomorrow in this room, 10:30 to noon. We'll have lunch here, and then 12:30 to 2. Or no, 1 to 2:30. So that's all set up. Want you to be aware, final offer is not some out there concept, and it's not something that we're excited about because it looks like something that, hey, we should maybe try. Final offer will put an exclamation point on everything we've just talked about and give you some ideas on how to market your listing. It has some phenomenal concepts that will help you tremendously on how to get your listing sold. So if you don't come tomorrow, please come. The next one is October 15 and 16, but please sign up. If you haven't seen it, there's a QR code that will help you sign up. And that invitation came from Becky, I think. That invitation came from Becky McGee. So if you're looking for your email.
Yep. That's it, guys. We've got 25 minutes left. The bar is still open. There's still food out there. Thank you guys for coming. Have a drink. Share more ideas, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys on Wednesday the 8th next week at Mile High Stadium.